emotional toll of the last several weeks, let alone even just the latest developments in the last week. I know you guys are in need of some inspiration and hope, and you need it right now. I know I do. And you guys are going to be so blessed today, because I was blessed to hear Dr. Kellie Lancaster's story last year in Oklahoma. And today you guys are going to be blessed by her too. Her amazing story that I'm going to bring her on in just a minute, her amazing story that God is still writing of overcoming great tragedy and recovering with triumph, and some of her tools that she kind of picked up along the way is really going to leave you feeling more inspired today and encouraged and ready to take action on the future. Okay, so we're going to be sharing several tips for key health tools for your health and your spirit and your business. And if you guys are watching on the replay or the recording, thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you leave some hearts and some comments, questions. I'll be back to answer questions and respond to your comments. It really just helps us engage as a community. And I don't know about you guys. Can you guys see my shirt here? But we need some speaking life. Do you need some speaking life into your life, or do you need to be speaking life into someone else's life today? Yes. Well, today we're going to be free from despair, free from hopelessness, right? We're going to be free to have hope. We're going to free to reframe your mind, free, like I said, free to hope, and free to just think outside of the box and think creatively. And those of you who are joining me, I have a gift just for you. Oops, I lost my screen here. Hold on a second. Those of you who are just now joining, I have a gift for you. And I'm going to share it with you right here. Hold on a second. There we go. If you'll share, give me the word hope in the comments. I will make sure that you get the full written content of today's show notes, as well as a brand new app that I have access to that I'm going to share with you, that's going to also share with you ways that you can deal with some of the stressors that are going on right now. So go ahead and sprinkle this among your people. Don't keep this information to yourself. You guys are going to want to hear and not miss out on meeting Kellie. So if you guys are new to our channel, my name is Amy Miller. I'm a wellness advocate and I'm a business coach. I'm feeling a little extra casual today, that helps SLPs and healthcare professionals calm the crazy in your mind, overcome burnout, and return to joy so that you can enhance the impact that you're already making. So this is Free Friday. This is our weekly series on Fridays to experience life more fully, more abundantly, and bonus if we can do it naturally. Right? So before, I'm going to go ahead and bring on Kellie so she can wave to you guys. And yay! Hi, Kellie. So I know that probably Kellie and I know I did when 2020 kicked off. I think we were all trying to map out our best year ever. And then we were faced with really dramatic changes. And I know many of you started to wonder what's going on. And then closing schools meant that you were now taking care of your kids all day, every day, while still carrying on all your other tasks, right? And then if that wasn't enough, then the world literally closed for business. And it's been a roller coaster of emotions. Am I right? Yes, for you too. Yeah. I know. Yeah. And so I know that as a business owner and a mom, many of you are trying to figure out how to navigate some of these unprecedented times without dropping the balls that you're already juggling. And you know, I had the pleasure of meeting Kellie last year in Oklahoma. My husband and I did, and I was so impressed with it was just so evident that God's light was shining through her. And I know she's a very busy wife and mom of two. She's a health and wellness expert. She's a business owner, a rancher, and she's going to bless your day today. So before we hear a little bit more about her story, I just want to share really quickly, because I know Kellie's going to share with some things that you guys are going to want to, some nuggets that you're going to hold on to. So here on our Free Fridays, we love to kind of learn out loud. So when we learn out loud on the broadcast, we use the hashtag Free Friday. So, and we just use this to kind of explain whatever nugget we want to hold on to, or a takeaway, some kind of awesome tip, or new idea that we want to take action on. So share that hashtag Free Friday, even if you're watching on the recording or the replay, and share something that you took that's really valuable to you that you're going to implement in your own life today. So, so let's talk about some of this, Kellie. I want to ask you first, just kind of tell us a little bit about you and your family and the day that your lives dramatically changed almost 6 years ago.
Sure. Well, so like she said, I am Dr. Kellie Lancaster, and I am a chiropractor and a clinical nutritionist. And my husband is a chiropractor, and my dad is a chiropractor, and we don't know how to do anything else, right? But I've been in practice for about 29 years. I live in a little tiny town in North Texas called Bowie. Actually, we live in a suburb of the little tiny town called Fruitland. It's not even an incorporated city, but we live out in the middle of nowhere on a cattle ranch. We have horses. My youngest son is a rodeo cowboy. He's a calf roper, and we live out on a ranch, and I love the natural lifestyle. And I really, I feel like our approach to living and healthcare is that God gives us all the tools. We just need to know how to use them. And so I have spent most of my practice equipping people with that. I'm passionate about moms. I'm passionate about families being intact and having freedom in their choices for healthcare, and then having tools to take care of yourself. Now more than ever, if you needed natural healthcare, it's now, because the last place you want to show up in is a doctor's office or an emergency room. And so
right.
having those tools to take care of you and yours, so important right now. And so I have spent my life doing this, and doTERRA is not that new, is not that old to me. I've been doing clinical nutrition for 27 years, right? But doTERRA for about not even 4 years, right? So let me tell you a little bit about my story so you understand how God ordained steps and how He works out details if yet you just trust. So, I'm a mom of two. I own 2 businesses. We're busy. I have one at the time. I had a child in high school, and my younger son Dane, and I thought I had to micromanage everybody's life, and I needed to take care of everything for everyone. And my son, I told you, was a calf roper. We were at a roping in Oklahoma on May 24th of 2014 when my son's horse was tripped by a neck rope that was placed on incorrectly, and it flipped the horse, and Dane was caught underneath, and it crushed his skull and broke every bone in his face. And I don't ever talk really about what I saw, because I was there, because it's just too hard, because I can put myself right back in it. But I have to remember that that's not where we are today. But in that moment, I knew when I left my child laying in this cool river of blood that I may never see him again. Well, God was very merciful to us. We get to the hospital. He's alive, but he's in critical condition. They tell us that if he lives, he's going to be a vegetable. This is very, and they're telling us, the next 72 hours are very critical. So Dane goes to ICU. They tell us that his intracranial pressure, the pressure in his brain, is rising. And if it doesn't stop, that they're going to have to do what they call a craniectomy. Some of you are in healthcare, I know. So maybe you're like, I know what that is. But they're going to remove his skull. And no parent, put yourself in the mama shoes. I mean, all your learning goes out the window when you are faced with this. And I knew what our reality could be, and we were praying and asking God for a miracle. And in walked a girl from my hometown, and she handed me a bottle of frankincense, and she said, put this on his spine and up his feet. And I would have held a dead chicken over his head if I thought that, I was desperate in that moment. And I did it. And within 3 hours, we went from, hey, we're cutting your baby's skull off, to, hey, his pressure is normal. And in the worst minute of my life, essential oils proved themselves to me. Now, I didn't really know much about them before that. It really was not in my training. But you can bet after that fact, I spent volumes of time. When you live in a hospital for 5 months, you learn. And I was desperate for anything that could help my child to recover. And the more I learned, the more I saw how well researched and effective and all the tools that he had, and I used them extensively in his recovery. So to kind of tell you a little bit about his injury, he had a diffuse axonal injury. So 90% of the people that have this type of injury don't live. Of the 10% that do live, less than 1% of them ever live outside of a nursing home. And so to tell you where he is now, yesterday we bought him a truck, and he has returned to calf roping. We wear a helmet, and we don't run where they run neck ropes, which I know probably doesn't mean anything to most people if you don't rodeo, but we run in a different environment. And he is a typical 17-year-old. He's taking college classes. He takes care of cattle and horses and is just an absolute miracle. And I know that God healed Dane, but in that minute, he gave me a tool. And that tool has given me the ability to help other people in their journey, in their health, or even in their business. And so for me, I'm just passionate about equipping people from either side of that to know that they have options in their life. And what a blessing it is. You know, God will put you in a position where you have no chance to do anything. You are helpless. But the truth is that God's not. And that he can, I mean, when you think about the levity of what we had, that could have looked much, much different for us. But yeah, God controlled that whole thing and how different it is. And I know that God has purpose and plan for every person, you know, but I'm forever thankful for all of the details that he worked out in that so that he could change the trajectory of my life. You know, if you think about it, Amy, I wouldn't be talking to you today if that wouldn't have happened.
It's really amazing. In fact, I'm just sitting here listening to you, and I'm thinking, yeah, how many messes and things that we see as mistakes, or things that we see as there's no good that can come from this, but how when we're on the other side of it, seeing how intricately orchestrated so many ways to be used and to God to bring so many goodness into your life, and then for you to even share some of that goodness to others. Mm-hmm. So I'm just, in fact, if you guys aren't having like hashtag free Fridays out the wazoo of nuggets, Kellie, you shared so many nuggets today. In fact, Nancy says, yes, she wants the goodness of the written notes that we're sharing today. And yeah, Jim says, in the worst minute of my life, essential oils prove themselves to me. Yeah, so many valuable things that you're sharing there with us. Now, I'm just curious, back on kind of to shift gears a little bit, kind of and taking some back steps before all of that happened. Because I think all of these tie together. You entered into chiropractic medicine. I assume partially because it was kind of instilled in your family, right? You're kind of grown up around that, but you entered into that to help others. Yes. Tell me about that.
So, you know, I grew up in my father's clinic, and my dad is 80, going to be 81 this month. And when he retired from active practice, he still has his very first patient, you know, and so I watched my father have this practice where people, it wasn't like he just took care of their spine or he just took care of their health. He took care of them. And, you know, he said that, he always told me, he said, at the end of your career, it won't matter how much money you have, but it will matter what difference you made in other people's lives. And so it was always instilled in me that you give more than it's expected of you, and you give freely of that, and trust that God will take care of you on the backside. But what you pour into others, that's what matters. You know, so even when it's in your worst time, still pouring in there. So when I was a kid growing up, that was such the natural for me. And, you know, we went to everybody's, you know, we went to the weddings and we kissed the babies and we went to the funerals. And I can remember when we would have ice storms, Dad had a list in his desk of widows that we would call, and we would go see whatever they needed, and we would take care of them. And that was the mindset in my home, and that was just, you know, where my happy spot was, because I saw the value in pouring into others.
You know, it almost sounds like that chiropractic medicine and pouring yourself into others was just, it wasn't your separate business. It was a way of life.
It was, and it still is.
Yeah.
It still is.
Yeah.
Our patients now are like family to us. You know, I mean, you know, I want to be that person for someone else that I might need. You know, because when Dane got hurt, people ministered to us in a million ways. And I was always that kind of person. I was not good to receive. I was always, I'm going to fix you and I'll help you because I can do that. But in a hot minute, I couldn't help myself. I mean, I couldn't even get fresh clothes. I mean, I couldn't do anything. And God showed me that, you know what? I can orchestrate all this. I don't need you to micromanage any of it. Let me pour into you for a minute. And to be that for someone else, you never know when you meet them in that need.
Yeah.
You know, because of how overwhelmed we were with support, I know how that feels to be, and I want to be that to someone else, because you never know when you change the trajectory of someone's life with your simple act of love.
Yeah. Yeah. If you guys are having some takeaways today, please share them in the comments, even if you're watching on the recording or on the replay, because this is such good stuff that Dr. Kellie is sharing with us. And I feel like because you're such a giver, Kellie, it seems like, especially, and I know many of you watching are such givers, it's hard to be in that receiving position like you were in, but it's almost like God had to put you in that receiving position in order for you to serve even better later on, right? Serve others even better later on.
Well, it's totally true. I mean, it is, because, you know, I mean, because moms are fixers, we're going to fix everything, right? And I all of a sudden couldn't fix anything, you know, and even as somebody in healthcare, then I couldn't fix that either. And it was the most helpless minute or season of my life. But the truth is God won't fail you. He will not fail you if you trust him, and then humble yourself enough to where help's okay. Help's okay.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it, you know, I think through hundreds of people that I would have never had contact with that came and gave freely to us in a billion different ways. You know, I mean, I'll just share this with you. You know, I'm self-employed and I am the business. So if I don't go to the business, it's hard to make a living at the business. Well, I didn't work for half a year, 6 months, while Dane was inpatient and in intensive therapy. And we employ 6 families. And in that time, people gave to us in such a way, I laid off no one.
Wow.
I didn't lay off one employee. We didn't lose our home. We were able to pay our medical bills. We were able to send our son off to college. God provided in every way. We just had to trust him.
Yeah.
And I still, today, can get tearfully humble because of all he's done.
Yes. Yes. Well, so that trust factor is so huge, and sometimes we have to have these experiences to more fully understand that word trust. But so tell me then, what made you decide that essential oils would help your business?
Could you repeat that? You cut out really bad on me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. So what made you decide that essential oils would actually help your business? Did you hear that okay?
I'm losing. Okay, now I hear you good. Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. What made you decide that essential oils would actually help your chiropractic medicine business?
Oh, that's an awesome question. So, okay, so like I said, I didn't work for half a year and then I go back to work, right? And I'm seeing patients that I'd be like, that would totally help Mr. Jones here. That would totally help this person here. But I had no resource. Now, at the time, I was pilfering oils off of a friend's friend. She was a doTERRA advocate. But I was like, no, I mean, I didn't know anything about network marketing and network sales, and I didn't know a thing about it. And I was just like, I'll just do them retail. And so I didn't even have a membership at all. And, you know, I would see people that were just, you know, they would say, well, you know, you get a wholesale membership, but I didn't know anything about companies other than I knew about doTERRA. But as a doctor, I was like, okay, I really have to make sure that these are pure if we're going to use them within our practice. So I start calling, and most of them, you know, I'd say, hey, I'm a doctor looking to integrate this into my clinic, and I'd like to see your testing. And most of them were like, we don't do testing. And of the ones that did do it, they told me that it was proprietary information and they could not share that with me. And I was like, what? So I did call doTERRA, and they said, oh yeah, you know, here's the batch number, and you go to the source to you. And they told me all about their website where I could actually see it on the bottom of the bottle. And I was like, great. Well, I still didn't really act on it after that. And a friend of mine who is actually my enroller came to town to watch Dane run a cross-country meet because that was a big victory. And she was there actually doing a program through doTERRA called Diamond Club. And we went to dinner that night, and she said, hey, you ought to integrate it in this way. And we did. And it's been the best thing we ever did for our practice. And so I'm super, super thankful for that. And it's been just the greatest blessing it's just, again, only God could work those details out.
Well, yeah. So, so do you feel like that has, I mean, it sounds like it's almost just been an added addition to what you're already doing, but what would you say to the therapist or the healthcare professional that's wondering either how this could help their own family right now, or maybe how this could help their own business right now?
Sure, that's a great question. You know, I think, you know, to help your own family, to have natural solutions in your home where you're in charge and you have resources and you have what you know to be safe and effective for your family, I promise you it works, because it worked in the worst minute of my life. And now, you know, we use it for everything. And I mean, I know you don't know me, but I'm a data girl. I need hard fact evidence. I want to see some report with a bunch of statistics and a bunch of long words and names. I love that stuff. And everybody else is like, you are a dork. But I love that stuff. And I promise you it's there. It's there. So it's good. And then in the clinical application or in the application in your home, it works. It makes a difference. And so using it, I promise you will not be disappointed or even see marginal results. They do work. You know, and then as far as using them in a clinical setting, whether you are you know, in speech therapy, or you are a therapist of a different type, or you're a doctor, a nurse, any of those, you know, anybody in the healthcare realm, you know, integrating those into what you already do, people are looking for a natural solution. If you could say, hey, to another mom, let me help you, empower you with tools for what if the world goes crazy, which people would say, oh, that never happens. Well, what do we have? She's got the little icon up there, 41 days of, oh my gosh, who would have ever thought that would have happened? But that you would have a resource to empower yourself to take care of your family if you couldn't get anywhere. You know, I think about y'all are down there in, you know, the Houston area, and my very best friend lives in Kingwood. And when all that stuff flooded, you couldn't get to a clinic or a doctor or any of that stuff. And so having a resource is incredible. Empowering other people to have that resource is awesome. So I had another doctor ask me one day, he's like, well, instead of you selling them supplements, you're letting them get it in a different way. And I'm like, yes. So then they have the ability to take care of their families, even if they're not sitting in my waiting room. Even if they move to Samoa, they can get it.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I love that you shared that, because so many of us are in those, I mean, that situation right now as we speak, either on the patient end where we can't access our therapist or our chiropractor, and we're having to find creative ways to take care of our families from home, or we're finding ourselves, as the therapist, trying to figure out how to get online, how to reconnect with our patients, how to stay connected with our patients and still serve them in a way that is meaningful, but yet many times right now we can't physically. So it sounds like it's been really a huge asset to your business. But and I want to reward those for you who want to take action on what Dr. Kellie has been sharing with you today, because I love to really encourage you to take action on what you're hearing and not just soak in, but actually move forward in something. So I want to ask you, how can you today maybe begin to like reframe your mind around everything that's going on, either the situation that you're in currently with your business or in your home life, and like what shifts are you going to start making in your business that will enhance the impact that you're already making? So any last words that you want to share with us, Dr. Kellie? Something that's on your heart, or something that you've been hearing a lot from other people that would be helpful?
Sure. The thing I would say that kind of goes along with the questions you've asked is that, my motto has always been, don't let fear or circumstance dictate your path. And we have to shift, like you said. We have to pivot, figure it out, and women are masterful at that. I mean, I know, no offense, Jim, I'm sure you're great at it too, but men in general don't multitask like we do. They're not wired to do it. That's how God made them. That's why God made us, right? But I think that we have to just shift and figure this out. If you are a therapist, because I was talking to one of my dear friends is an OT up in the Panhandle, and she's like, "Oh yeah, they do pediatric OT over the telephone." I'm like, wow, telemed OT, awesome. Yeah.
Pediatric, no less, too.
Do you feel better? Yeah. I'm like, cool. So, I understand the struggles that we're dealing with in healthcare, because it's a real thing. But how do we shift and adapt? And in that same vein, how do we as healthcare providers continue to pour into people, but still manage our own and preserve our own health and stress level? We have to be able, we've got to be able to maintain our own health so that we can pour into others. Because if we're falling apart, it's not happening for anybody else. So to me, one of the most important things in all of that is our mindset. Yeah, this is inconvenient, and yes, it's not any fun, and dang, I'm so tired of, all the things that we're having to do. I am. I'm with you all. You're sequestered, and maybe, you're thinking about, running away or whatever, but you can't run away because you're sequestered, and all of those things. But having a mindset shift of how grateful we can be for what we do have, and how maybe this time shows you a shift or a pivot in your business, maybe your home life, that makes all the difference in the world moving forward. Because if you'd have told me 6 years ago that I would have been doing doTERRA essential oils more than full time in addition to a practice, I'd have been like, you are out of your mind. That's not happening. I do this. We don't have time for that. But God will work those details in your life if you just have the mindset to do it and see it as a gift instead of a tragedy. And I think that when we have that mindset shift, like, okay, what is he teaching me? What's he going to give me through this? And it's going to be for good, because Scripture dictates that it will be. And I think that we all win when we do that.
Yes. Well, and if you're listening, when you're watching, if you're waiting for things to just return back to normal, that's not going to happen. It's going to be a new normal and we have to be able to adapt and change with that, or we're going to be falling apart. And I love that Jim quoted you where he said, if we're falling apart, we can't help anybody else. Yeah. And this applies to moms too. Yeah. So, so I thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Kellie. You have blessed my life again, and I know now yours too. Yes, and you guys, our next live wellness masterclass will be Friday, May 8th. Now these are complimentary, but it's where we do get into a little bit more juicy stuff, as if this wasn't juicy enough today. So if you want more information about that, you can just type in the comments below masterclass, and I will get that information to you. If you've been listening and you're like, I know, I just really just need to hit the reset button on my health. I know we are there, our own family, so we invite you twice. You don't know this, Dr. Kellie, but twice a year, we just hit the reset button. Our family does. And we do a 30-day little literally just hit the reset button. And we provide just a complimentary support group to that, where people can either join us on the nutrition side and join us doing Whole30 alongside with us, or if they want to bring in the essential oils and supplements, they can do that side too. So they get to choose.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We're starting that on May 1st. So there are a few days left for you guys to join in with that. So if you want to hit the reset button, just type that in the comments, reset, and I'll make sure you get that. And Dr. Kellie, that is open to anyone. So if you have some people that need some support with just literally, I need to reset, reboot the computer, then they're welcome to join in on that too. And thank you guys so much for joining Dr. Kellie and I today. And we'll see you guys here next week. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.